And we start tonight with a story you'll see only on 2. Water is one of the most important things that government delivers to taxpayers. But some Fredonia taxpayers are getting water they don't dare drink because they can see things floating in it.
You will not believe what you are about to see. Investigative reporter Steve Brown has this 2 on Your Side original on the crumbling Fredonia water system and the water it delivers to the village.
Open the faucet in Paul Luce's Fredonia home, you'll get water like this.
It seems like there's always something floating in the water, but we still won't drink it and we won't cook with it, even after we filter it.
That's right. That's after the water passes through a filtering system. Just a couple of weeks and the white filters start looking almost pumpkin colored.
I change them probably every 3 weeks, but I could change them every week and it would already be orange.
Luce says it's been like this at his home for years. He and his wife have somehow learned to live with it.
We tell people when they come to visit, don't drink the water, get the bottled water out of the refrigerator. We can't just fill a pot and boil food in it. Can't just go to the sink and make a pot of coffee. We don't dare use it.
The retired Fredonia cop suspects beneath his street, James Place, there's a bad water main.
They've got to know that these lines are shot. I don't know how they can't know that.
Water main breaks are common this year in Fredonia. A big reason why 75% of Fredonia's water delivery piping is rust-prone cast iron, some of it old enough to be considered antique.
There's water mains within the village that are 126 years old.
Paul Snyder is with the Chautauqua County Health Department, the agency in charge of making sure Fredonia's water system works. In February of last year, an inspection report from the department listed 40 state health code violations, many well known to village officials.
They've been kicking the can down the road for decades.
Among the problems, the village water storage tank south of Fredonia is too small, described as not adequate for fire flow.
Does that mean on an average day, if there was a fire, they might not be able to have the flow out of a hydrant in order to be able to fight fire?
Correct.
Then there's the village water source, its reservoir. There is a 5-foot thick layer of sediment on the bottom that needs to be removed. Dredging projects planned in 1965, 72, 99, and 2001 were never done. There has been recently some good news.
Fredonia was just awarded over $900,000 in grant money for carrying out some of the much needed repairs. Unfortunately, $900,000 doesn't even scratch the surface. Their consulting engineering firm has indicated that they need close to $30 million worth of work done to this water system.
Compare that to the cost of running the entire village government for a year.
It's about $11 million.
Athanasia Landis has been mayor of Fredonia for less than 2 years. Trained as a doctor, this is her first elected post.
When you were running for office, did you have a really good idea of what the status of the water system here was?
No, actually. I had some idea. It's a big problem. We have these problems with colored water in 3 or 4 places in the village that I know. If it was up to me, I would start changing all the infrastructure, or at least infrastructure that is not performing well.
But Fredonia doesn't have the money to make all of these needed repairs. And Paul Luce, he says he has no other choice than to continue putting up with this flowing from his tap.
I don't know who would be foolish enough to buy a home with no drinking water. There's no potable water. How can I sell my house? The value has got to have gone down.
So you're trapped.
I'm stuck here.
So how does Fredonia fix this? There is grant money available from the state, but that's a competitive application process, so no guarantees. Mayor Landis says she will not raise taxes, but says she's open to raising the water rates. Fredonia has already seen water rate increases twice in the last 2 years. Landis also mentioned borrowing the money, maybe some sort of municipal bond. The mayor insists that she is committed to fixing the worst performing parts of the Fredonia water system. That includes the crumbling water mains delivering the orange water to sections of Fredonia. Mary Alice?
That's pretty scary.
It is.
I mean, I think if you put a glass of that water in front of lawmakers, and told them they had to drink it, they might want to come up with
There
a
might be some
solution
motivation
fast.
in there. Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't know yet, though, I mean, the effects on people. It can't be good for you to be drinking water that's that clouded.
No, I can't, but it does pass bacterial tests that's done routinely from the Chautauqua County Health Department. We can also tell you that they've tested for lead and copper. They do show up in trace levels, but within acceptable safety levels, but it looks awful. For Paul Luce and his wife, they've been living there for years. They don't dare buy light-colored clothing because it'll get stained going through the wash.
Right,
So they wear
absolutely.
dark-colored clothing, and they've adjusted their entire lives. They're not the only ones. It's not a large number of people in Fredonia, but the fact that this exists at all is extraordinarily troubling.
Yeah, seems unconscionable, but we know you'll continue to follow up. Thank you, Steve.
Absolutely.
Scott?